What is going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about some bar options that you guys can take advantage of on a Total Gym, some pros and cons on different types of versions. And this is somewhat kind of motivated by a lot of questions I was getting recently from the review I did in the X3 bar. I'm still not done with talking about this. I'll probably talk about some stuff in the next video. I did say this is a really cool bar. It's actually very useful on a Total Gym. And so that kind of motivated me to pick up this thing. I'll talk about this. I was gonna make a video just solely talking about this, but then I figured I might as well kind of lump this together and talk about the other subtle differences between, say, the Innstar Bar or even the Gr8FLEX EZ-Curl Bar. So there's gonna be a bunch of stuff featured in this video. I'll of course link this bar and everything featured in this video down below in the description box if you guys do wanna check those out. Check those links out to greatly help support me and the channel. Also, there'll be some timestamps down below to navigate to a certain section if you guys want to look to that. Also, consider hitting that little alert button, that little bell. I know everyone kind of says that, but I go over so many things. I get so many repeated questions. Honestly, it's hard to cover everything all at once, and you guys will definitely miss some little subtle tips here and there. So kind of, again, shameless plug, definitely hit that notification bell. So the first logical question might be like, why all the different types of bars? Is it really worth getting different angles and different attachments for a Total Gym? Are they totally necessary? I wouldn't say they're totally necessary, but I definitely would say you're missing out on the whole Total Gym experience or sliding bench training experience. Just like going to the gym, different attachments, so they help you connect you to the machine. They change up the angles or just kind of the tension and force that's diverted on the muscle. Different kind of feelings, subtle differences. Again, if you just go to the gym, that's the whole purpose of having different attachments. You guys know you have a certain preference towards thinner bars, thicker bars, different angles might hit different people. So I encourage you guys to experiment, especially considering if you guys are using this machine like I am for your sole form resistance training, it's definitely worthwhile your investment and just kind of keeps things more interesting. Now, just talking about this JBrant bar. Now you can see this is definitely a knockoff product. It is in no way kind of comparable as far as quality, just when you're kind of feeling it up and just looking at it compared to the X3 bar. I'm not gonna talk about the X3 bar in this video. I talked about it in the past video. I'll link it down below. But I will say, as far as just basic functionality, this definitely passes the test as far as what you can use on a Total Gym. Now, as you can see, this bar and some other bars I'll get into really are made for resistance bands. And I will comment later about the resistance band use, but again, you guys could use this multi-purpose, of course, for resistance bands. But some people may be worried about this thing being somewhat abrasive to resistance bands. I think it's okay, but again, I didn't use it so much, at least as of yet, on resistance bands. But this might be kind of awkward to hook to a carabiner clip. So I talked about this in a past video. Again, why you guys want to kind of stay informed on all these videos. I did a review on this product, and later I talked about using the Innstar Bar slipping through here, I think on the new exercise video I talked about. But if you're gonna get this bar, which I definitely would encourage you guys to pick up, it's very cool, I'll get into that in a second. I would definitely pick these up along with it to help kind of anchor the straps so they don't kind of fall out. These are actually worthwhile for a number of different uses. These are made in the USA. I gave a whole video on this. I'll link this down below as well as the product in the description box. Like I said, you're definitely sacrificing, of course, build quality, but otherwise it seems functionally the same as the X3 bar as far as what you can use it for. Why I particularly like this bar, and I mentioned this maybe in the X3 video, that I like these kind of shorter distance bars. Even when I used to go to the gym, I love this diameter. It's not too thick, not too thin. I always loved and sometimes honestly preferred straight bars for things like cable curls, cable press downs, again, when I used to go to the gym. And so even to Total Gym, even I'll talk about the EZ-Curl Bar in a second, you guys might have more of a preference, but I really like this thing, of course, for curls. You can do close grip presses, feels awesome. Not so much chest presses because you can't go that wide, but I do find if you get more of a tighter grip and I really press right through here and kind of squeeze in the middle of my chest, this feels excellent. I also feel very safe on this thing, given the kind of setup that's on here. Again, nothing's totally safe, but I definitely feel safe that I'm not gonna fly off the machine. That'll be a concern with the Innstar Bar here in a second. But otherwise, things like pullovers, you can do inverted shoulder presses, probably better on the other bar, but pretty much multi-use faceted bar. If you like kind of closer grip bars like I do, and also because of the Total Gym, I like that it's tighter so that kind of that tension and pressure really goes kind of centralized on your chest. So kind of keep that in mind too as you're pressing this. I'll allude to this later with the wider bars. It kind of diverts the tension a bit wider, but definitely like these for a variety of exercises. I would highly encourage you guys to pick this up, considering the price and also consider the multifaceted use of this, say with resistance bands. All right, next talking about the very popular Innstar Bar. If you guys go on Amazon, if you type in like resistance weight bar or something like that, odds are you're gonna find this thing. So it's very highly rated, which says something about the quality. And when I say quality, I'm more so talking where it really counts, which is these things right here. I bought a cheaper bar that was almost exactly like this. Within a span of a few days on a Total Gym, it kind of snapped off. That was always in the back of my head. That's always something that is in the back of my head whenever I'm using this. So I'll talk about that in a second. But as far as like overall quality, you can tell, I mean, as far as like the paint and the chipping, this thing started chipping really fast. I mean, it does its job for like metal-wise, for its multi-purpose use. I mean, I do like it because it's multi-purpose use, so of course you could use it for bands. I think it definitely is awesome for pretty much everything else you can do. You can do curls, tricep press downs, you can do rows, variety of rows. pullovers. Where I really particularly like this is for overhead movements, also chest press movements. I say that though again with a big caution, because now if I'm sitting, say inverted, doing overhead shoulder presses, feels great on this thing. If I'm seated on this thing, loading up some extra weight, doing like a bar press, feels awesome because you got this nice wide grip and you can press right through your chest line. The only thing that's in the back of my head is I'm definitely kind of mindful, especially having my feet in the ground. There's something, this thing did kind of snap, which potentially definitely could, that I'm not gonna fly forward. So I wouldn't necessarily, not that I probably haven't done it before, I wouldn't go on my knees on this in case this thing does snap. I'm just gonna fly forward. Inverted, probably not as big a deal if this thing snaps, I'll probably just slide down. But definitely be careful if you're doing things with this thing because of this. There are some other bars that are very similar to this that are much safer. They're just more expensive. I yet to kind of review those. I probably will in the future. I will link those bars down below here in like kind of the honorable mention though. But otherwise, I think it's just a great all-purpose bands, especially things for like chest presses. I use this thing a lot, just throwing it over the glide board in a variety of push-ups. And the other thing I would add, you guys can kind of see it in this video, and I'll link down below the video about chains and extension. If I'm doing chest presses or things like that, I tend to add some extra extension to this thing. Also because if you guys notice, if I don't put any extra extension, you can still use it, but it kind of has this weird, because it's so wide, it kind of gives off a lot of wide tension. So that's also something where you could actually slip this thing between these kind of straps right here, and you can direct the tension that way. Again, I'm pretty sure I talked about this in like my last new exercise video, how to do that, but that's also pretty cool. But again, you guys can just look at the review. It's very highly rated, so that definitely says something. I will just say you're kind of getting what you're paid for. It's relatively cheap and inexpensive. The paint is gonna wear off. I think they actually make one that splits in half. You can kind of break off and unscrew off. I just honestly, especially in a total gym, same kind of risk of this kind of thing falling off. I wanna make sure I got a solid bar, but definitely like it for its all-purpose use and the fact that it's kind of relatively inexpensive. And then of course the Gr8FLEX EZ-Curl Bar. This thing was might have been the first one I actually got. You get these for free if you actually do pick up a Gr8FLEX, I think in all their models. Otherwise you can buy it on Amazon. Again, link it down below. Essentially it's made for a Saudi men's trainer or a total gym or again a Gr8FLEX. I like it because it already has some built-in extension. But since I got this, people do ask me and they wonder why I don't use it as much. Honestly, some people love this, some people don't as much. I like EZ-Curl bars, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the use of it tends to be a little bit more limited. Of course, I like the way it feels for curls, tricep press downs, awesome. You can use it things like chest presses, inverted presses. I just find, I don't know, I just don't gravitate towards it as much. I tend to go to the Innstar Bar. Sometimes I don't use the bars as much. I kind of go on and off with phases of even using the bars in general. The only kind of downside I'd say is that you can kind of hear it there. This kind of rubbering can kind of move around in your hand. So it's not, or not rubbering, it's like padding can kind of move around your hand. So it's not the tightest thing. So as I'm doing curls, you kind of lose that connection as you're doing a curl. But still, I feel very safe on it. I don't think this thing really would break off. I guess it's possible given the way this is kind of built, but it's a tried and true item. A lot of you guys I know pick this up kind of as one of your first go-to attachments. Definitely, I'd say a staple and kind of shines in more so the arm department. And then I'd say some like good runner-up bars that I've considered. There's a cheap one that Body Solid puts out. Pretty sure it's Body Solid that has these various clips and attachment sites. I've oftentimes been really on the fence with pulling the trigger and reviewing that one. I probably will in the future just to kind of check it out, but it might not be necessary based on what I have, but that would probably be pretty cool, pretty inexpensive as well. Also, again, this company, it's called Hog Legs, kind of a weird company. I think they're based out of the United States. I think these bars are made in the United States, but don't quote me on that. I've had a little discussion with the company, but I've yet to kind of pull the trigger. The bars are fairly expensive, although I assume they're also very well made. They have different lengths. These things are more so made for like cable machines, but again, as you guys are seeing here, you definitely could take advantage of these. And I probably would definitely trust these over the Innstar Bar. So if you're kind of on the fence about like just safety wise and want to spend a little extra more money for like a premium product that I think is made in the USA versus one that's made in China, definitely consider that Hog Legs company. Again, I'll link them down below in the description box. But with that being said, guys, it's hard to really recommend one all-purpose bar. I did recommend the Innstar Bar recently to someone in the comment section based on what they were kind of comparing it to and the all-purpose use of what I said. But it kind of depends on what you guys are looking at. I would say all these bars are honestly worth picking up to try for various uses. And again, will kind of increase your experience in the machine. I really do like this one though. I guess the focus in this video is really kind of highlighting this bar. So far, it's fine. I mean, I didn't mention one little thing. Obviously, there's just some fabric in here. So when you are kind of curling, this thing is obviously not as well built or designed as compared to the X3 bar. But again, it gets the job done. It has this little fabric that rotates around. I think this thing could probably handle a lot of tension and stress to it, but definitely much lighter than the X3 bar. I will talk with the X3 bar probably in an upcoming video, but with that being said, guys, any questions, comments, any bar I'm not aware of that you guys use, want to recommend, definitely drop it down below in the description box. I'll for sure check it out. If you guys have any specific questions, let me know. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.